Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is going to be another Fix It video, another video where I bought something faulty off eBay and I'm going to do my best to fix it. Now I'm looking forward to doing this one. It is a Corgi Truckertronic Convoy, and I believe it is from 1979. So it's a radio controlled truck, and growing up I loved the look of these trucks. In the UK, not all our trucks, but I know nothing about trucks before anybody says anything, but most of the trucks that I see are all flat fronted, and I believe it's because we're only allowed a certain length. So if you want to make money, you want as much load as possible so you can carry as much as possible. So the front of them are quite small so you can have a longer trailer. But obviously this mustn't be an issue in America, because from the trucks I remember growing up, they always had this massive long bonnet, and to me that truck there just looks so American. I mean, it might not be, but it just looks brilliant. So I got this faulty off eBay. I bought this in a job lot with other things, so I can't tell you the actual price of this, but let me show you the listing. I paid £50 and £8.99 postage, so £59 basically. But I got a few things in here, so there's 4 things. I've got this truck, this chatbot thing, a little car, and also one of those Tomy-tronic handheld things. Now that apparently is working okay, so it says, but if we go to the truck, it says RC truck did make a couple of intermittent motor noises but then stopped completely. The wheels didn't turn. Okay, so you can see it just here. So yeah, it should be a good one. Now, back in 1979, the very fact that this was radio controlled would have meant that it was a pricey toy. I don't know the price of it. I haven't looked it up, but I will try to do that later on in the video. And because a lot of them would have been remote control, where you actually have a wire going from your controller down to the actual truck itself. So let me just quickly show you this box here. I've got to be gentle with it because it's all ready to fall apart, but it says here total maneuverability and control, left, right, forward, reverse, stop, start at a flick of the controls. But I'm pretty sure now it's not going to be like when you're doing it, it's just going to be probably fully left and fully right. It's not going to be like proportional steering where it just goes a little bit. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking because it's an old toy, it might be just a case of that it's full left and full right. So really it's still a toy grade. It's not like a hobby grade, because you're not going to get a huge amount of feeling from it. But you need to remember that this thing now is 30, well, it's going to be coming up on 40 years old, isn't it? And I think with it you could get different trailers for the back of it. So, oh no, that bit just came off. Right, I've got to be really, really gentle with it. I mean, the thing's falling apart. But if you have a look here, you can see it comes with this one, but it looks like you can get this one and also an SO one as well, you know, like a fuel tanker. Right, let's have a look in here. Even still got that with it. Excellent. Right, it's got Goodyear tyres on it. And the thing I'm going to be most interested in is this, because instead of having a left and right here, you've actually got a steering wheel. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So that's going to be some kind of variable resistor, isn't it? I'm thinking. Do you know, it actually looks quite complete. So we've got some road cones here. There's another one in there. Even got some instructions, it looks like. Oh wow, yeah. So 9-volt battery in the actual transmitter. And then, oh look, in the truck itself we need another 9-volt battery and some cell batteries. What are these ones now? I wonder what batteries these are. Well, I'll soon know when I take it apart. Looks like that light at the top should light up. Looks like the back of the trailer must come down as well. Well, okay, well that's nice to have the instructions. I can have a good look at them later. Oh, here we go, look. So that's the back of the trailer. This is in a lot better condition than I actually thought it would be. Oh, that's nice. It's got a little lock at the back. That doesn't want to open though, it seems to be a bit seized up. I wonder whether it's supposed to be openable. Well, there's a ladder. Looks like there's a ladder in the back there. Now I'm wondering why this doesn't want to open. Okay, maybe I shouldn't mess around with that just yet, just in case there's something that makes that open. Have another look at those instructions just quickly. Just going to fast forward through this. Oh wow, hold on a minute, it converts. So the one toy does all the different things. Lucky I didn't break the back off that. So you do this catch here. Oh, look at this. How good is that? And that goes there, so that's like a, you know, a car transporter type thing. Did it go that way around? I suppose it would be stored when it's driving, would it be up like that? Yeah, like that. Wow! Okay, and now that one should come out. There we go. Oh, that is nice, isn't it? That is a nice touch. Oh, come on, how good is that? Right, that's... I like that. I like that a lot. Let's move this box out of the way, because otherwise I'll end up flattening it. And have a look at that as well, just to show the age of it. A Home Office license is required to operate Truckertronic Convoy. There you go, an application form is included, UK only. And then for Ireland you need to apply to Dublin, specifying the equipment. So you would have had to have, I wonder how many people did actually have a license for this. That's amazing, isn't it? Right, that's really interesting, that. I knew I was going to like this one. And here it is. Okay, it's got a nice bit of weight to it. Oh, it looks like there's a bit of plastic here. Right, so one of the mud guards has come off and it looks like it's been glued before. So that's going to need fixing. But we won't worry about that, we'll have to actually get it working to begin with. Looks like they're kind of like stuck over in that position. I won't force that just yet. And there are the cones, right, that's it. So everything looks to be complete, which is nice. So I think what we'll do to begin with is let's concentrate on seeing what's wrong with it. And then if we get it fixed, we can show it working at the end. So that seems to centre itself nicely. That still feels springy. That all feels okay. So we're going to have to use a 9-volt battery in here. Made in Hong Kong. And these are C batteries here and another 9-volt. So that's all okay. That bottom one there looks a little bit bent in here, but it will be okay. So let's pop these batteries in. Right, so we'll turn the transmitter on first. And now let's turn the truck on. Right. Okay, so that's definitely not right. And they're not turning, but they're making the right noise. And nothing's happening up front here. Okay, I'm going to turn it off because obviously something's not right. So what was happening was, it was doing, making a noise when it was in the neutral position, and then when you go... What does that mean? Go forward? I don't know. So actually I thought there was a problem there because you heard it made the noise in the middle and it would stop then and stop then. But if you have a look, it does say stop and stop. So it must be the fact it always goes for... I'm just trying to think. It must be the fact that it always goes forward until you do this, and then it will start going backwards until you do this, and then it will start going forward until you do this. So but either way, when I did this thing here, it didn't make a difference. I'm going to turn it on one more time, just to sort of clarify that. Right, okay, so that looks like it sounded different when I did that, so that must be how it operates. So it's not like a normal radio control car where it's forward, reverse, stop. It must be always on the move until you do that and until you do that. But still, these wheels didn't turn here, and they do feel to be locked into position here. So what we're going to have to do is, I'm not going to touch this because, well, I'm not going to touch this at the moment. Maybe the wheels are not turning because there's a fault with the truck. Maybe the wheels are not turning because there's a fault with this here. But to begin with, let's just work purely on the truck. And because we've got a couple of things not happening here. We've got the fact that the wheels are not turning. I don't even know which ones are the... Well, these are the drive ones back here. So they're not turning. And as well as that, the front's not. The front seems to be locked into position. So let's get a little screwdriver. And it looks like... I can only see two at the front here. I can't see any other. Oh, there we go. We've got a couple at the top there. And we've got this thing here. I'm not sure. Should that be up like that? Again, maybe this only gets released when it starts to reverse. Yeah, it says something in the instructions about hitching the trailer. If you have a look at number 8. Hitching the trailer to the truck. Hitching can only take place during the reversing of operation. Reverse the truck until the tow bar on the trailer makes contact with the locking mechanism on the truck. Continue to reverse the truck until the light on the cab turns off. So that must be this light up here. At this point, the control can be pushed in the forward position and released, allowing the truck to move forward, pulling the trailer. And then to unhitch the trailer, it says unhitching also can only take place during the reversing operation. Reverse the truck, and whilst the light on the cab is on, the control can be pushed forward and released, allowing the truck to move forward, leaving the trailer behind. So that's kind of nice. So I thought you would have had to physically yourself put this on and off, but it looks like you don't. It looks like it's part off it. Now, I'm trying to think, this is very bent up here, but it looks to be bent in a kind of square way. I wonder whether... is it supposed to be just straight up? I mean, has somebody bent it, or is it supposed to be bent round somewhere else? Not too sure. Right, let's get some screwdrivers and my little mat out. And it looks like the front is about to come off. There we go. Oh, look at that. Right, it's just all out in the open. Oh, how nice. It's even got, look, a little screw-in bulb. Would this have been pre-LEDs? I don't know how long LEDs have been around for, but that's nice, that is. Right, so what's happening here? What's happening here with these motors? That all seems to be completely seized. And back here. Oh, so look, when that touches there, something must happen. So when, do you know when you reverse on? When you reverse on. Hold on now, how does that happen here? Doesn't want to go down. Oh, it locks in like that. So you reverse, it locks in, then you can drive away. But I don't know what makes that, what makes this go down again. I don't know how this releases. I really do not know how that is going to release itself, because there's nothing to allow it to release itself, is there? Oh, this thing here. This thing must, that thing there must hit against that cog down here, and then do it like that, which pushes it down, which allows you to release it. See this one here? I think first things first, let's find out why this is not working. So this back wheel here is nothing. This one here. This is the driven one here. And it seems to be very... very stiff. I wonder, can we take this apart further? Okay, this is driving me absolutely crazy, and what's not helping is all these wires. I've just got no room to work. It kind of feels like claustrophobia or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unsolder this coil, the red wire, the white wire, make a note of where they go, and then put them together later. I'm so annoyed that this axle's not coming out, because you're trying to balance. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. When I was trying to fix that old Tudor watch and trying to get all the pivots to line up, all those, you know, second gear, third wheel, fourth wheel, whatever it was, all line up in the correct holes. And every time you do it, one would fall out. And then you'd move that one and the next one would fall out. And then you get these two right and the third one falls out. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully it's going to be a lot easier. I'm just going to draw a diagram so I know which one goes where. Right, my uneducated guess at what's happening is I think some of the gears have become loose on the axles. For example, now, let's say if I turn this one on this top cog up here, you can see now that it's working its way, let's see now, turn it there. Right, so if I turn it that way, well, even now, these ones here should be turning. This one here should be turning, and sometimes it does. But then sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I'm still turning it here. There you go, it's working now. But not all the time. I think they've just become loose. I think they've become loose on their axles because there's a lot of hairline cracks on them. And obviously it takes a bit of resistance to bring this round. Because now when I move it there, you can see that they are moving, look. But yet if I was to apply power this side, then they're not, because it's easier just to spin on their axles rather than spin all these bigger gears around here. That's what I'm thinking. I don't really know how I'm going to solve that. Do you know what I might do? I might put this to one side for a minute, because if I'm honest with you, it's starting to beat me, so maybe taking a rest from it would be a good idea. Maybe I should look into why these front wheels are not turning, because that might be a more enjoyable fault. And then I don't know what to do about it. I mean, maybe I could try to super glue the things on, but it's going to be very hard now that they're all in their place. I'd have to strip it all down, clean everything, because there's grease everywhere, so I can feel it on my hands. Let's try to concentrate on here and see what's happening. Right, I suppose what I'm going to have to do is, there's a worm wheel on that gear down here. I wonder, do I need to get into the mechanism here or not? Let me pop the batteries back in and see if there's anything happening when I do that. Well, I can hear a bit of noise. I can hear whining. When I turn this, listen. Nothing? No, stop now. There. Oh, this is really starting to beat me. Well, I suppose I'll have to take the motor out. I'll have to take the motor out and see if it's spinning. Wow, I really didn't think. I mean, there's nothing. It's good that it's challenging, but I just didn't think it'd be this. I didn't think it would be this challenging. Right, okay, so I've got the motor free at long last. So now, if I put the batteries back in, I should be able to see if this motor's turning, this worm gear is turning when I actually do this here. Because maybe it's a problem with this, or maybe it's a problem with one of the components here. Maybe it's not picking up the signal for the turning off the steering wheel. Here we go. Yes. Yes. It's doing something. It's not very good. That's good. Yes! It's working. Excellent. Look, this is what I'm doing. Right, so that might have just needed freeing up. Either that or it might be weak. Let me put strain on it. It doesn't take much to stop it. But that means that all the circuitry is okay. I wonder why this light's not on. Oh look, when I go down here, this spins. I wouldn't have thought that would have spun. Right, so when I go forward like that, it's not... Go that direction. That's not working. Let's go this direction. And it's not working. Nothing's working. Oh, why has it just stopped? Here we go, back on again. Maybe I shorted something out on here. That's what I probably did. Put this back in the right position. There. Bit worrying while when you go down, it also spins this. Right, well, I'm happy. I'm happy I took that apart there. That gives me more hope. So now I'm going to put this bit back together and see if we can get it working like it should be. Maybe. I mean, everything looks okay. I don't know why. I don't know why it wasn't working. Do you know what it might have been? It might have just needed a bit of a run. Maybe the motor had just seized a bit, because you seen to begin with it was like really like going, like really straining. Not even straining, it just seemed like there was just nothing there at all. But now it's really going for it. So it might have just needed freeing up. Let's pop this back together and see what happens. So I've put that back together there. Let me pop the batteries in. That's better. Now look at that. We've got a lot of cracks. I can see another crack in this gear here. There's another little hairline crack just here. So most of the gears, well not most, but there's quite a few of them that have got these little hairline cracks. Can you see just it looks like a black hair here? Right, well that is definitely moving now. So now I'm going to put the wheels back together and see if it's still going to move. So you can see what happens here. See this gear here with the knobbly bit sticking out of it, this thing? That's going to go into this bit here, which is then going to move the wheels. So if we pop this in, there you go. So you can see now when this turns here, it's going to move the wheels that way and that way. Like that. Let's try that again now. And zoom right out. No. No. No, nothing's happening. Let me try to loosen it up a little bit. I think it's just because there's so much resistance there. Well, the other thing I'm thinking is if there was like wear, if one of the capacitors has failed or wasn't giving the same reading, I wonder whether less power is going through to the motor. And if less power is going through, it might not have the strength to then turn it. I'm going to loosen everything up just in case I've done something too tight. No, they twitched that time though. Well, see that it's going. See that it was starting to go. You see that? It went that time. starting to work a little bit. It's definitely getting there. Oh yes, it's loosening up now, but then it will just stop every now and then. Good news is, it is proportional, look, when it's working. See? Now it doesn't want to go anymore. So that's brilliant. So it's not all or nothing. I'm going to do up the screws again. Well, it's getting better, but it just keeps on failing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to grease it all up. I really don't know what else to do. I'm going to grease it up and see if it makes any difference or not. Every time I do up the front of these screws tight, it just stops working. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just working through it bit by bit. So you can see I've got the motor here. I've put the worm gear off and then back on again because I want to try to see if it's going to make a difference, whether it's more this way or this way. Maybe it needs to be absolutely perfect. So now, when I turn the transmitter a little bit, you can see if I was to hold this top one here, that it is going round, but it kind of feels a little bit clicky. And if I go the other way, it goes that way round. So I'm just going to work through bit by bit. And I mean, see, it could be all down to little things like this. If you have a look, hairline crack. See? And maybe that's what I mean. It still feels really strongly on here. So although it is broken there, I don't think that would stop it completely from working. And then that transfers up to this gear up here. And again, this has another hairline crack on it. See it there? That's what I think the problem is. I think it's all these little cracks that's adding up. And then this one goes on here like that. And then underneath here, this goes against here, and that should be it. This is the thing that moves this bottom bit. Yeah, that sits in here, like so, and then that moves left and right. The other thing I don't understand is moving this thing here moves the meter independently of what the transmitter's doing. So now I'm not touching the transmitter, but if you have a look, you can see that's moving it one way and the other. So I'm wondering if this is just used to get the central point. I don't know. Because what's going to happen is, when this is moving down here, this is going to start moving the motor. So we're moving the controller, but then this is giving it, this is also making it go round. Right, okay, I don't think this is very good news. So basically, right now, all I've got is the worm wheel connected to that first gear. So nothing else is connected. So I haven't got the gear on top, I haven't got this one going through, I haven't got the bottom one here. But even with just a worm wheel against here, it works perfectly for about 2 or 3 goes, and then it just locks itself up. And when it locks up, it doesn't matter whether you wiggle this left and right, it still makes no difference. So if you watch this now, you think, oh yeah, okay, well there you go, it did it for a second. Well, prime example, it worked, then stopped. So now, let's put that back in the central position, give this a wiggle, there you go, right. So it's moving again, and it's locked up. There, so now working, stop, and the other way. Working, stop, and the other way. But what's happening is, it's just constantly getting locked up. And I think what it is, I think there's play in the motor, because when I move this through, there's a, well, you just have to look at my fingers to see the play. So I'm going to put my nail on it, there you go. So there's that much play on the spindle of the motor. And then as well as that, we've got a crack on this gear here, and also look at the play here, up and down. And I think what it is with all that thing there, you can hear it clicking, and then it just locks in. So right, so now, it's just not smooth. It's working good right now, but it will just lock up again. There, it's locked up again. So obviously that's no good. And I don't 100% know whether it's the motor that's locking up, or whether, well no, I mean when there's no gear on it, the motor doesn't lock up. But that doesn't mean the motor's not at fault, because it could be just when there's a little bit of pressure on this here that it then locks itself up. Let's try to take the motor apart. But I think it's just all down to wear. Remember, these are not going to be made to last forever. And especially with the plastic parts, I think I might be just wasting my time on this one, unfortunately. I really wanted to get this working. But, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I can always get another one and use this one for spares, because there's a lot of good components on here. It's just when it comes to the gears, it's just too much wear. And I've tried pushing that worm wheel in further. So there you go, it's in further now. But the same thing happens. And it's working really well right now. It doesn't take much to stop it. It doesn't take much to stop it at all, so I'm hardly putting any resistance on that. Do you know what I might do? I might try to plastic weld that gear onto this spindle here, because right now that's the best I've had it working. And if I plastic weld it on, I've got very little room, but if I can, then it might be enough. Let me try that. Right, okay, so it's working like this very well. So it goes as far as that and stops. Just get that in the shot. And it goes as far as that and stops. But you can see the knobbly bit there, hopefully. There we go. So now, let's see if it works when we put the strain off the wheels and everything on it. But that is the best that it's worked all night long. Well, let's see if that's going to do it now. Turn it on here, on here. Nope. Just look, as soon as there's weight on it, it stops. It is jammed up again. Yeah. Such a shame. Such a shame. Yeah. There's it's what's happening is the worm gear is coming away from the very first gear, and there's absolutely nothing that I can do about that. As soon as it's nicely locked into place, but as soon as, let me zoom in and show you, because I think I'm going to be calling it a day now, unfortunately. Now, as soon as it comes under any strain, so what you're going to be looking at is this gear here, okay? So you've got the worm gear against this gear. Now, when there's no pressure on it like now, hold on, let's get it working. Right, there you can see it nicely now. Right, yeah, there, back the other way, move it a little bit more. In fact, even there, it's skipping. So the motor's turning, but it's just either locking up or it's just spinning. There you go, see, it's spinning without this. So that motor is spinning now, but this one's not. There's too much play in it, and there's nothing I can do about that. It's just to do with wear. I mean, I've plastic welded it onto it. It's the whole thing that's not moving. And see, there's wear in the little motor as well. I can't swap it with this one because they're different sizes. This is a bigger motor. But even if I was to get a new motor for it, there's still just wear because the gears and everything are cracked. It's such a shame. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day. I hate it when I can't fix it, but with these gears here, I've spent hours on this now. I know this sounds silly, but I'm still pleased because I have learnt how this now works. But well, I haven't fully learnt how it works because, well, I'm pretty sure this thing is to stop it. It's just weird because when I move this, even without moving this, it still spins the motor. But maybe that's how it cuts it off, by going in the opposite direction. I don't know, I really haven't got a clue. But if I was to get another one of these, in fact I might get another one of these because then I've got all the spares here. And I like the fact that the steering is proportional. Just wish there was a way that I could get that to lock into place. Yeah. Do you know what? I think this truck has had it. I think it's only going to be good for spares. But it will be very good for spares because the bodywork and stuff looks really good on it. Another thing I was confused about is why this little light's not working here. So that would be something else that probably needs fixing. But it's kind of pointless looking at that. It's pointless looking at this if I can't get that. There's too much going against me. I've seen 2 cracked gears here. I've seen 2 or 3 cracked gears here. Unfortunately, if it was just one thing wrong, then it would be fixable. But in my opinion, it's not going to be fixable. And I know everybody's going to say, you know, you can make an imprint of these and then use super glue and baking powder or 3D print it. But there's too many of them that are cracked. And to me, it looks like they all need to be absolutely perfect because you've seen it was just a hairline crack. I've put plastic weld in there, so I have strengthened that up. But it's still missing just because there's just too much play. Even now I can feel the play on that motor. There's too much play around the place. I think even if you were to 3D print the gears, I still don't think you would have success on this. So I am going to have to put this to one side and I may revisit again in the future if I was to get another one that, for example, had a faulty board, or maybe it didn't communicate with this, because as far as I can see, they're definitely communicating between each other. That all looks fine. It's just the actual gearboxes in them that have gone. So yeah, really apologies for making you sit through however long this video is going to be after I edited it. But like I keep saying, this is real life, and I also put on my failures as well as my fixes, because otherwise people might think that everything is repairable, and it's not. And with this one here, I have probably spent over 3 hours on this, and the outcome still wasn't good. So yeah, I'm going to have to call it a day on that one there. Maybe next time. I have had a bit of a good run recently with them, so I was probably waiting for a failure to come along. The weird thing is, I really didn't think this would be it. An old toy, radio controlled. I thought that this was going to be, I thought it was going to be an easy fix, but how wrong I was. So I had finished the video there. I said my goodbyes and stuff, and then I thought, well, I need to put this back in its box. I might as well put it back together, because it would just save me losing all the parts. And when I was putting it back together, I accidentally hit these two contacts together, and guess what happened? The light came on. So that is one little bit of good news out of this video, that this light does actually work. So it's something to do with the fifth wheel. The when you're putting the trailer onto the fifth wheel, it said something in the instructions about when you're hitching it on, wait for the light to go on or come off, something like that. But if I turn it on now, you will see that when I hit these two together, the light does in fact work. So I thought that would be a nice way to end the video. So that is it for definite this time. I won't be touching this again until I get another one, and then I can use the spares from that one in the gearboxes here and here, and then I think it will be a working one. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos and trying to fix and failing videos. That's it for this one. Take care. Bye now.